Welcome to the Whitman Conservation Commission, George Porter. Um, First on the agenda, which we have the public forum, is to approve the payroll, any site inspections, and review of mail. As of right now, I don't have any mail or review of site inspections yet. So-
George,
Yes,
don't mean to interrupt, but can you put your screen down so we're not looking at your head, the top of your head?
you want to watch
Well,
me
you kind
talk?
of want to see the person you're talking to. So if you just move, keep on going.
How's that?
That's all right.
I can't see. Hold on.
Is that good?
I have to mute so I can see.
You all set?
Hello.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. So Elaine,
Yes.
we go to your house to sign the payroll?
No, it's already been done. You
Oh,
just
it's already
need
been
to
done,
authorize.
okay.
Remember, I had you do it last week.
Oh, okay, you think I remember? Yes, I was
I
at your
do.
house. Okay, next is the approval of the August 18th minutes.
Yes.
I motion to approve the August 18th minutes.
Any changes or revisions or any additions, subtractions?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 3 in favor. Approved.
Yeah, 3-0.
Yep.
Okay, next on the agenda is that I want to introduce Spencer Shute, who is a new member of the Whitman Conservation Commission. He was voted by the selectmen last Tuesday, and his duty is to go to the town clerk's office to be sworn in and get his ID card. And I spoke to him a little bit earlier, and he's going to do that tomorrow sometime.
He can't vote tonight.
No,
because he
no.
hasn't been sworn in.
Yeah, right. He hasn't sworn in yet.
Right. I'll be in touch with you after you're sworn in to get the information that I need to send to the Mass Association of Conservation Commissions and to put you in the records with the town clerk's office.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Next on the agenda, let's see. Where's Matt? For the railroad. That the Whitman Conservation Commission request a determination of applicability by the Contour Cordless Commuter Service Director, 470 Atlantic Avenue in Boston, Mass. The representative is 10 Domini 19 Ocean Ave in Portland, Maine. What this is about is that every 5 years, they send in a determination of applicability to do vegetation work along the purple line. The purple line goes through Bear Meadow, and there are 3 areas that the conservation has approved by non-chemical use because of the water going underneath the railroad tracks and near wetlands. And the work is related to vegetation management, control, and maintenance activity. And the request is for years 2021-2026 for the railroad right-of-way. And also they do pest control, and this has all been approved to promote a safer railroad for employees, passengers, and neighboring communities by means of implementing various approaches toward removal of nuisance vegetation along the right-of-way. Now, if you, for the ones, I don't know, can you see
Yep.
the right-of-way? Can you see 2 or 3 spots of yellow? Maybe we go this way.
If
If
it's
there's one-
possible, I could share my screen. I do have that prepared to pull up. I'm not sure if I'm able to share my screen. Usually I am, and I have that prepared that I can pull up for everyone to look at.
Well, if everybody can see this, the 2 small yellows and 1 large yellow area, which will not be chemically controlled weed, but the rest of it will be. And it is the same and been approval since, I think 1986. I'm not sure of the exact date, but it's been a few years, ever since the railroad was put in.
Yeah, we all have those plans with us.
Okay, you do?
Yes,
Okay, I
remember
know.
I gave you each a copy?
Yeah, I gave Spencer a copy. Did you get it, Spencer?
Yeah, it was mailed to me.
Okay, I think I dropped it off at your door.
He has a copy.
Yeah, you have a copy. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so Matt, you are asking for the determination of number 2, which the work described in the request is within the area subject to the Wetlands Act, but will not remove, fill, dredge, or alter the area. Therefore, said work does not require a filing of a notice of intent. And I know that you are mentioned maybe number 5, that the activities conducted to maintain, repair, replace, but not substantially change or enlarge an existing or lawfully located structure or facility used in the service of the public. And I think we've used number 2, and I'm not sure about not number 5, but do you want either one or both, Matt?
A lot of times we get both. I do believe 5 years ago, the last time this went through, I think you guys issued the -5, but both would be perfectly acceptable. We do get that from a lot of towns.
Okay, any comments on that,
I think
Elaine? And
I think that's reasonable to do.
2 and 5?
Yes.
Is that okay with you, Sandy? 2 and 5? She didn't hear me. Sandy?
On mute.
Am
Oh,
I?
hi, Spencer. Sandy?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, number 2 and 5?
Yes, I'm fine. Yes.
You heard that?
Yes.
Okay. So that's okay with you, Matt?
That's okay with me, yeah.
And
Okay.
Are you aware that the DEP has changed the forms? The determination of applicability forms? I just want you to know that because that's the one I'll be using. It's essentially the same.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so, any questions from anybody?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Since no more questions, then I will entertain a motion to accept the request for number 2 and 5 for the maintenance of the railroad bed.
So moved.
So
Second.
there,
Okay. All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 3-0.
Matt, you want this sent to you?
Yes, if you could send it to that FDC engineer's address
Okay.
that's on the application, that would be great.
Okay, I'll do that.
Is that Boston
It's Portland, Maine.
or Portland,
It's
Maine?
all on the
Okay.
form. I have all the information I need.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, everyone. And
Thank you, Matt.
yes, have a great night.
You also.
Thank you.
Okay. Next for the hearing by Ross Engineering. In which a request has come in. Hang on for a second.
George, Eric here from Cable. I just wanted to say there's a few people that have called in that if they need to speak on a particular matter, if they could just hit star 9 to raise their hand. And if anyone that's on a computer needs to speak on a topic, they could just hit the raise hand button, which will indicate to me to open their microphone.
Okay. Okay, you want me to wait a few minutes?
No, just if you should get to a point and you don't hear your applicant or anybody representing them, I'll keep an eye out for raised hands.
Okay,
Good, the next hearing is the one for 93 Belmont Street, and some of those people are probably on.
yeah, 95 Belmont Street.
Yes,
Okay,
Fred Gilmetti.
oh, hi Fred,
Hi, he said hi.
Oh, George.
how are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm still here.
Yeah, we all are.
Yes, we are. Okay, we're all set to go?
Yes. This is Paul Marabito from Ross Engineering.
Hi, Paul.
Hi, Mr. Chairman. Would you like me to start?
Okay, we have a Donald Moran and we have Eldridge, Diane Eldridge for her husband, which are abutters, I believe.
That's correct.
Okay. That the Whitman Conservation Commission received a notice of intent for a project on 95 Belmont Street to build I believe a single-family house, which the applicant is Fred Galmanti, 782 Bedford Street in Whitman. The property owner is Francis Leach, 262 Bedford Street in Whitman. The representative is Paul Marabito, Ross Engineering Company, 683 Main Street in Norwell. Now, the following that was noticed for the hearing was the applicant, owner, representative, planning board, board of health, board of appeals, assessor's office, town clerk, board of selectmen, DEP, state highway department, Whitman Department of Public Works, the building inspector, and the abutters by the applicant. Now, most of these are done by mail. It was also in the Whitman
Express.
paper, the weekly paper, and also posted on the website on cable. Now, just to let you know, Fred, that we have not received the DEP number. So we will not be able to close the hearing because we have not received the number. Your DEP number review letter. But we
I
can
checked
still,
this morning and there was nothing here.
okay. So the way we will proceed is that the owner or the applicant will present the project, and then the commission members will ask any questions, and then we'll open it up for questions to the abutters. Now, are you going to speak, Fred, or you want the engineer?
I'm all set, George.
Okay, so be your engineer,
Do
Paul.
you have any questions for Paul?
Okay,
This is Paul.
okay, Paul,
Okay,
you're on.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Gilnetti is seeking approval of the notice of intent to construct a single-family home and a detached garage on a vacant lot having 19,819 square feet of land at 95 Belmont Street. There are two resource areas. One is an on-site wetland on the easterly portion of the lot. The other resource area is a perennial stream that's off-site, but we are within the 100 to 200-foot setback from the riverfront. The proposed work within the proposed work in the buffer zone of the wetland would include the construction of the home, and a portion of the garage, and also some landscaping. There's no proposal to fill any wetland in. The plan shows a limited clearing around the garage and the rear of the house. That area would be landscaped with your typical shrubs, and the rear of the house would be the lawn area. We also show some leaching chambers in the front portion of the lot to collect the roof runoff, which will reduce the amount of stormwater that goes on to Belmont Street. I know that's not required, but we put that in there for good measure. There's also a recharge chamber to the east side of the proposed garage that will collect water and recharge it into the ground as well. We are working within the prescribed limits of work within the riverfront. There's approximately just over 600 square feet of structure within the riverfront, which is much less than what's allowed. We show a silt sock that would be placed prior to construction along the limit of clearing. And once that's done, they would start construction on the home. So with that, I'll end my presentation and answer any questions you may have.
Okay, Paul, on the plan, you have three recess chambers, but on the property, you only show two.
Okay. Are you talking about the detail? It shows three?
Yes, you have three.
The chambers are approximately about 3.5 feet long. And what we do is to put three of them end to end. The two of them would have end caps. So the chambers you see on the plan, that's the detail.
For each chamber.
Yeah, so each.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Okay. All right, that answers.
once you put all three together, they're approximately 10.5 feet long, and that's what we show on the front part of the lot. One
Yeah,
next to the
well-
garage and one in front of the house.
Okay, oh, that's good size. Okay, I misunderstood that.
That's okay.
I'm always learning. Okay, I know that you, I want to ask you also about, you have a proposed 3.5 foot high wall by 2 feet wide.
Yeah.
And what's the purpose of the wall?
The purpose of the wall is to limit the amount of fill on the lot and also limit the amount of work that would be performed within the buffer zone. It also greatly reduces the amount of fill we'd have to bring in. The garage, the back of the garage is an elevation, it's about an average of 108.4. And the proposed ground below it is 105. So rather than bring fill and put it up against the edge of the clearing of the wetland, we show the proposed wall. It also acts to keep human intrusion out of that area close to the wetland. So,
Okay, I noticed that you're at 19.8 feet away from the corner of the proposed dwelling, which is the house.
yes, for the foundation.
Okay, so the wall will eliminate further grading down to the edge of the wetlands.
That's correct.
Okay, yeah, okay, good idea. Okay, and that wall goes all the way around to the side of the driveway also,
Yes, it does.
in which you're only, well, you're only 6 feet away from the corner of the driveway. Okay, now, is there going to be any storm grates on the driveway to go into the recharge area? Or is that just gonna be all gravity fed or what?
The those chambers on the left side of the garage, as you look at it from the street, that'll take some of the runoff from the roof area. And then the driveway itself will all be, it'll also shed toward there, but some of the water will go out into the street. But the roof area from the garage is gonna go into those chambers, into that chamber. The roof runoff is considered clean water, but we put that there to reduce the amount of water going out into the street.
Yeah, okay, but you got the recharge area to the right of the garage, of the driveway, which is 20 feet wide. It's a good sized driveway. So the water will just go into where?
Well, the grade of the driveway is sloped. As you look at the driveway from the street, the right-hand side, we have a proposed grade of 108. That's the little square, that's a small rectangular box with a number 108 in it. And
I see
from there,
108.8.
It's 108 even. It's in the middle of the driveway.
Oh, I see it. I got you, yeah.
So the water flows at 90 degrees to that solid line around the 108. What's going to happen is the water is going to go from there. It'll flow down to the left side of the driveway. As you look at the driveway from the street, it'll flow from 108 down to 106.9.
Yeah, I got it.
Then the top of the wall there is at 107. So
Yeah.
in the bigger storm, some of the water is going to overtop and go into the leaching chamber, but the other water will go back out into the street. It's a fairly flat slope. So some of the water will go into the street in the bigger storms.
So it just flow. Oh, okay. Yeah, a couple of inches, it's gonna be a big storm.
Yeah, it would have to be, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now you mentioned the garage. Where's the garage?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. We don't have a garage on here. That area is just a driveway. If they wanted to put a garage, they would have to come back to the commission. I misspoke earlier. We don't have a garage there. We just have the driveway, which is separated from the house.
Yes, I see that, yeah.
Yeah, we don't have, I'm sorry. I apologize for that. We have the driveway and we show a brick walk from the driveway into the front door of the house. So
Okay, I got it.
I apologize for that.
Yeah, okay. And then the buffer zone. Okay. Sandy, you have any questions?
Yes, I do. Is there a walkout basement? I mean, it just looks like a square. So are there, the basement is, I presume, not a walkout? There's no bulkhead?
No, if they had a walkout, the elevation of the basement floor we show on the plan is elevation 103.3. The grade behind the house is 104.8. So if they did walk out, they would have to step up from the basement, probably 2 steps, and then walk out to the lawn. So
Okay, well, usually what we get, we have a footprint of the house so we can see what it's kind of gonna, I mean, just a, you know, a square, you know, stuff like that. No decking? Is there gonna be a deck?
no,
Okay. What about the gutters, the drain, you know, the runoff from the roof?
the runoff from the roof is going to go into that chamber in the front of the house. If you look at the left side,
108, the 108.8?
yes. If you look at the left side of the house, there's a 4-inch PVC pipe going from the downspout into that chamber.
I don't see a downspout, so that's what I'm. Where's the downspout? Is that the little circle?
So as you look at the plan,
Yeah,
on the left front corner of the house on the street side,
yeah.
there's a line that says 4-inch PVC. That's picking up the water from the gutter going around the house. You know, it'll bring it directly into that leaching chamber.
Hold on, I don't see. 4-inch. Oh, okay, I see it now. Okay. But what about the back of the house?
The gutters are going to go around the house and they'll all be connected and tie into that,
The front, okay.
that one chamber.
Okay, I think that's, so is there, I presume there's a back door or a side door or besides the front door?
It'll be the front door and then a door at the back of the house. If they want to walk into the rear yard from the basement area, they would need an exit out of the basement. So the door would be at the back of the house.
So it is a walkout basement.
But you see the 104.8 at the back of the house, that
Yeah.
elevation? That's probably where the door would be, in the center of the house.
Oh, okay.
Anything else, Sandy?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, I know you got the house 28 feet by 38 feet, but that's the window that the house is going to be built in.
Yes,
So it could be a little smaller, but no bigger.
that's correct.
Okay. Elaine,
Yep.
any questions?
No, I'm following along.
Okay. Spencer, you have a question?
No, not tonight.
Not tonight. Okay. Sounds good. Okay. Okay, I don't have. Yeah, I don't think we need that sign up.
What sign?
Well, the sign where that the house is near wetlands, and you usually put a sign up or some kind of a fence saying that no wetlands do not enter or something like that. It's almost 20 feet away. I don't know if we need that or not.
I wouldn't think so,
But we can put that in the special order of conditions if this gets approved once we get the number. Okay. You have any more questions, Paul, before I open it up?
No, I'm all set for now.
Okay. Diane Aldridge, you on the phone?
I am.
Oh, okay. You have any questions?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I called Ross Engineering a week or two ago in regard to this covering for my wife, the executor, the actual holder of the abutting land. And they promised me a copy of the plan. I never received it. I have a great deal of difficulty following this without a site map of any sort. I don't think I have a problem, but I have no idea.
Okay. Matt, can you give him a plan or you want me to bring him what I have?
not Matt.
Paul, whoever's speaking for Ross Engineering,
Well, I believe we mailed the plan to you with a copy of the application.
you
Oh,
did?
Paul, I'm sorry.
Yes, yeah, this is Paul Marabito.
It wasn't received. I don't know whether that's the
I remember,
hassle with the mail these days or,
yeah, no, we mailed it. I remember speaking to you on the phone. You
Yep.
told me about the land that you had behind it. And I had my secretary mail out a copy of the plan and the application form that we filed with the town and the state for your review.
Not received.
I can resend it if you want me to, or email it. But what they're building is a 28 by 38 foot house on the property and a driveway out in the front of the lot, and that's pretty much it. And there's some grading around the house. Other than that, we aren't filling any wetland. We're tying into the sewer. We put some storm drains in to collect the roof runoff from the house and some from the driveway. That's not required, but we put it in for good measure. The runoff from this house is going to be going into the chambers, which are on the street side, as opposed to the rear side of the lot. Other than that, there's no other changes on the lot.
So Paul, if you mail the Eldridge household a copy of this, he'll get it before the next meeting because I cannot close.
Right.
Well, I can continue it to October in case they have any questions or comments. But
George,
yes,
we're not going to be able to vote on this because we don't have a file number from DEP in any case.
yeah,
So we're
that's,
going to have to continue it.
yes. So we continue to October.
Right,
So,
we won't be closing the hearing, we'll be continuing it.
yeah, right. So the Aldrich people can ask questions at that time on our October meeting, which will be, hang on for a second. As soon as I get the, hang on. Which would be Tuesday, October the 20th.
October the 20th.
Yes, yeah, write that down because you will not be notified by mail of that October meeting.
Okay, I did get the notification of the September 15th meeting
That's
from
correct.
you. Thank
But
you.
when a hearing is continued, it's not required by the state to notify everybody again. So just take it down and it will be posted as part of our next Conservation Commission meeting, which will be on October 20th at 7:30.
At approximately the same time.
7:30.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, anybody else have any questions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
I'd
Donald
like to hear-
Moran?
Yes, hello.
Yes,
I'd also like a copy of the plan.
okay. Paul?
Okay, who was that requesting the plan?
Donald Moran.
You
He's-
also had a request from Megan Riley in the chat here. I'm going to unmute her. I just didn't want to do so without telling you.
Yeah, what's your last name, sir?
Moran, M-O-R-A-N, 99 Belmont
Okay,
Street.
I got it, okay. I can mail you a copy of the plan and application. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'll send these out to you and Frank tomorrow. Frank's in Pennsylvania.
And we also have another question, if you could.
Yes,
So this is Dawn's wife, Jill.
hi, Joe.
Hi. We have a rock wall in between the two properties. We're at 99 and the new property is 95. There's been a rock wall in the woods delineating our property, basically separating the two. I just want to make sure that that rock wall stays.
The rock wall is going to stay.
Okay.
Yeah, we show that as the limit of work.
All right, and also we're concerned because we're on a well, as far as the water flow, and if there's any concerns that way, as far as you guys are concerned, are you concerned at all about, the water flowing into our, because we are downhill from them, and, in huge storms, we're just worried about the flooding and all of that, because we haven't had any issues at all for 20 years. But now that a new property is going in, we're concerned about that. So just wanted to get your input on that.
What I've done is the rear portion of the house in the yard area, that'll continue to flow into the wetland and downhill, basically away from you. But the runoff from the roof of the house in the driveway, that's going to be collected in these chambers. And so it will not flow towards you. Those chambers are not required, but we put them in there for good measure, just to reduce the amount of runoff leaving the site. That water would be recharged into the groundwater and eventually down into the wetland underground.
Okay. Just a quick question. I don't know. I know this is Conservation Committee, but do you have any idea if it's going to be owner occupied or is it going to be a rental?
I'm not sure what the status of the house is.
Okay. I mean, who would we ask that? What kind of committee would we ask that question to?
To the owner, I would presume.
I don't think it's a committee priority. I think it's up to the owner.
Right.
So,
I just didn't know if anyone knew. That's all.
yeah, whoever buys the house could either move in or rent it, but I would think that they would want to move in.
Right. Who knows though? I don't know.
Yeah, you never know.
Okay.
That's it for us, I think. Thank you.
That's it?
Yes.
You are, okay. Anybody else have any questions?
Oh, I had Don Moran, one more question.
Yes.
Do they anticipate tying into town water?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
George, you have two raised hands. I don't know if you have the attendees panel open on your sidebar, but Donna and Megan both have hands raised. So whoever you'd like to recognize first.
Oh, Donna Bentley. Okay, she's in the butter. I see her name on the site plan. Okay, Donna, go ahead. Mark. You have any questions?
Donna, you may need to unmute your microphone. You've been permitted to talk, but you may still be muted on your computer.
Mr. Chairman, we need your special sign.
Well, when we put up my sign?
Yes.
What? Okay.
Yes, please put up your sign.
It looks like the microphones are both open on Donna and Megan, so I think that they can just speak. Donna first, I believe you called for, George?
Yes, Donna. You have a question? Is she on the phone? Here,
Well, I don't believe so.
I got the sign up. Unmute your phone.
Yeah, I think it's a computer.
Okay.
Perhaps you want to go to Megan while Donna works on that?
Sure. Megan, you on the phone?
Hi, this is Megan Riley. I'm at 100 Belmont Street across from the proposed home.
Okay.
I'd also like a copy of the plans as well. So one question that I have is just when was the wetland delineation done for this piece of property?
That was done, let me look it up. I think it's in the NOI and the reports from the botanist. Bear with me a second. Those were flagged on January 21st of this year by Brad Holmes. He's a wetland scientist.
Okay, great. Thank you. Also, my other comment was just commenting onto these flow chambers that you guys are talking about, that you're saying that you're doing like as an extra measure of precaution. So it does sound like you're doing some short-term remediation by building a retaining wall around the property, and then for the long term, these flow chambers. One concern that I have is I'm considerably higher in elevation directly across the street, and we have difficulty here with the water table rising up into our basement. So I'm just wondering, like, what do the size capacity of this like recess chamber to maintain all the runoff from the property, plus runoff from the gutters, plus runoff from the roof, and then also just if it was a decent sized storm, also hold the capacity of the water table expanding into that area as well?
Well, to answer your question, first of all, the chambers are not required for a single family home, but we put them in there, like I said, for good measure. In the larger storms, if they were to surcharge, on the circle on the top of the chambers is a small lawn grate. The water would rise out of there and flow out into the street eventually, and into the storm drain system in the street. But in the majority of the storms, the water would go into those chambers and recharge into the ground. Other than that, the runoff from the house is gonna flow into the backyard and down into the wetland in a manner that it's currently doing.
So in a bad storm situation, that chamber is going to fill, it's going to flow into the street, and then
Yeah,
basically,
but it's gonna take, the chambers are gonna fill up with the water from the roof area in part of the driveway before any overflow goes into the street. But even during the storm, there will be some recharge, occurring. But if you get a 100-year storm, which is approximately 8 to 9 inches of rain in a 24-hour period, these chambers are not sized to handle that entire storm. But in the smaller storms, they would handle the flow. Again, these aren't required under the DEP regulations for single-family homes. They're exempt, but we put those in there for good measure. When we spoke to the applicant, Mr. Gilmetti, and we suggested we do that, and he agreed to have us show him on the plan.
no, that's great. That's great that you guys are going like above and beyond like the baseline of the law. Just being like a resident on the street, like I can just speak to the fact that, in the 16 years that I've lived here, we have had a number of storms. I don't know that you would necessarily call it a, once in 100-year storm, but we have had storms that have impacted. We have had flooding across the street, across the road, across where the Morans live. There is like a drainage ditch. And then the natural flow of that water is that it actually flows already into Belmont Street. We also have a number of houses that are down below. I'm pretty much the highest point at Belmont Street until we lose a pretty considerable amount of elevation. And, the 5 houses that are below us, it's pretty common that you see there's some pumps working overtime, pumping water out of their basement. So, I mean, I understand that Mr. Gilmetti, he's the developer, building this property. And that's fantastic that, he is trying to go above and beyond what's required. But I'm just saying, like, historically, like having, been on the street, and then obviously his job as the developer is to, build the house, and then it's going to be occupied, by a family that's not going to have any history or understanding of, what kind of like the water table looks like in this, in our neighborhood specifically. So I'm just bringing up these questions, just having lived through it. This year obviously hasn't been an issue. We've had a drought year. But, again, these are all just questions for, like I say, and I appreciate the fact that there's a wall going in, that you guys are going to be using like the socks on the property, and that you've taken all these things into consideration, that there are going to be a recess chamber. But I'm just bringing up points again, like from being like an actual resident here.
Well, I don't know. Is there any storm drains on Belmont Street?
Yes, there is. We show one. We show an existing one. It's in the street. If you look at the word Belmont and Belmont Street, just below the M, there's a small square there. That's a catch basin. It's directly in front of the
Yep, I see it.
property. Yep.
Edge of payment. Yep.
There's also one on the other side of the pavement as well.
Yep, I see that. And where does the drain go to?
I'm assuming it goes downhill to that seasonal brook, which would be the low spot.
Which goes,
There's a seasonal brook to the east of us.
okay,
Might be on the Moran property or further east of them.
That's correct. That's correct. When it flows down like that in a situation, as Megan Riley mentioned, when you have a heavy rain situation, particularly with snow meltwater at the same time, that seasonal brook fills to capacity and will then overflow into the back of our property across the seasonal feeder stream and across back into a seasonal pond that I think is the beginning of the wetland back there. And I think that pond bridges not only my property, but I think the 95 Belmont Street property as well. So it can get very wet back there because of the flow coming down Belmont Street.
And it has overflowed several times,
Yeah,
and that is our biggest concern.
yeah. It's not the water coming downhill through the wooded area between the homes. It's the water that's going around us and coming through the pond, the stream, and just, you know, filling that stream to capacity. We have never had a flooding situation, but we've come very close maybe once in the last 15 years.
You think it needs cleaning out?
Yes, absolutely. The DPW, I think, was last through there maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. It would definitely be worth a look by them. Just go through and pull out the dead trees and anything else that's in there from Belmont Street across 27, and then wherever it goes from 27 back into the woods, headed south.
In our backyard, in these big, huge storms, has completely flooded. And that's what our biggest concern is, having a brand new property next door to us.
Well, maybe you speak to Bruce Martin, take a look at it.
Yep.
He's in charge of the Department of Public Works on Essex Street. Give him a call, see what he says.
Definitely.
Have him take a look at it and see if maybe it's clogged inside or debris or something, who knows?
One more question. Is there any indication on the wetland delineation plan? It's hard for us, like, being at home and not like seeing the layout of exactly like where the house is going to be situated on the property. I think that it's going to be kind of like, it sounds like it's going to be to the westernmost part of the property, so pretty close to like the Bentley's property line. But is there any like notice on the delineation documentation about vernal pool activity? I know that in the springtime, you know, you can hear a significant amount of like breeding frog activity. And although I don't make it a habit of going onto other people's properties, one time the Moran's dog got loose, and they had me run into that property to grab it. And I just know that I had boots on that came up to my knees, and I was in a significant amount of mud, etc. So I wasn't sure if there was any like notification as far as like vernal pool boundaries or things like that.
There is none in that area that I know of. I know if there was any questions, they will apply for vernal pool areas. There is only a couple of areas in Whitman, and couldn't tell you right offhand, but I don't think this is in this area here.
Okay.
There's definitely a seasonal pond that forms, definitely from late winter into early summer to the southwest of the property. I can confirm that. That's basically out there until almost July, depending on the amount of rain we get. And Megan is right. There's a tremendous amount of mud, just general wet property as you go west uphill from 99 to 95.
Okay.
If I can just chime in the wetland report done by the botanist, he did research that, and in the report he states that there are no certified vernal pools according to the state maps. He also walked the site to determine if there were any vernal pools on site that weren't shown on the state maps, and he didn't find any.
Oh, okay.
What's the Conservation Commission's definition of a vernal pool?
Well, it's the same what the state does. Vernal pools, it's a pretty well year-round thing, where that small, you may say small animals, salamanders, frogs, and all that stuff stay in there, and live there pretty much year round. And there's only two areas in Whitman. I don't know what they are right now. But
I would just chime in that a vernal pool, the definition is that it's vernal means like spring. So it is a spring pond that's created in a low area that fills up with spring rain and snow melt, and then it seasonally dries up. So if the wetland delineation is from January, there wouldn't necessarily be signs of vernal pool activity. I didn't know if there had been like a previous mapping of that. So, you know, my concern is that potentially it could be a vernal pool. A vernal pool definitely is not, it's not wet year round, it's only in spring. And then, you know, some of the species that can be found in a vernal pool do have state protections on them because basically these mostly amphibians return specifically to the vernal pool that they were born in, that they laid their eggs in, and then they come back in the springtime to lay their eggs. And then there are some species that are definitive indicator species, like a fairy shrimp, for example, that can be found all year long. Like signs of them can be found, but typically like a vernal pool assessment would have to be done during the season that that the vernal pool activity is taking place. And you do need definitive evidence of you know, breeding, like eggs, egg masses. So again, I'm just chiming in. You know, I do have a degree in environmental science and biology, so I'm slightly versed on this stuff. That again, like there could actually be a vernal pool out there that was not noted in January.
oh, good. We do have a vacancy on the Conservation Commission.
Thank you.
Megan, what?
Yes, I said thank you very much. That's
Oh, you're welcome. I heard you.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. I'm right now trying to keep a nonprofit afloat, but maybe
Sure.
once the pandemic's over.
Okay, any other questions concerning this application? You might have a question or two come October 20th, where I write them down once you get the site plan. And it'll be, the continuation will be October 20th at 7:30. As soon as everybody gets logged in. And I'm not sure if, who was the other caller that didn't get in?
It was Diane,
Oh, Diane Aldrich.
yes.
Yes, and her husband, and there was somebody else that
Oh,
called
that's
in.
right, I'm sorry.
Donna.
Donna Bentley.
That we couldn't get on the phone.
Donna Bentley, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, Donna,
Bentley.
okay. Donna, you there?
It looks like in the chat, she's requesting a copy of the plan.
Oh, she is?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Do you have your address?
I do.
Okay.
It's in the butter.
Way over.
All right, Fred, you have any questions?
You talking to me, George? What's up?
Yes, you have any questions?
No, I'm all set.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, since there's no more questions for now, I will continue this hearing to October the 20th, 7:30 p.m. And we'll be waiting for DEP's number and review letter.
Number and review letter. That's what they need.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Everything okay?
Have another question?
No more questions? Okay, Spencer will be in contact with you once you get sworn in.
Yep.
So forth, and I want to say thank you for calling in and all your comments. Really appreciate it. We're starting to get used to this Zoom. So, and I want to thank Ryan. Thank you very much.
It's Eric tonight, but you're welcome.
You're a guy.
So October, yes, he is the guy, that's for sure. So,
I'll be in touch with you, Ryan.
thank Sandy and Spencer and Elaine calling in, all your input. So the hearing on Belmont Street is October the 20th at 7:30 p.m. Okay. I think that's it on the agenda. Any other business that we know of?
No, we approved the minutes from the previous meeting, and that was the only other thing on the agenda.
Okay. Okay, so we're adjourned, and we'll have the meeting on October the 20th at 7:30 p.m. for the continuation.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you very much for everything.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for calling in.
Thank you.
Be safe.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.